but I figured I'd rather play this, because this game at least sort of takes the time out to try and maintain some semblance of being a video game, whereas, I mean, Ju-On The Grudge is just a mindfuck, really, isn't it? I mean, Ju-On The Grudge, if I could, to best describe it, okay, so Ju-On The Grudge, right? It's like a cheap porn film, alright? It's like a cheap 90s, 80s porn film, right? You know, where you've got this blonde, botoxed woman wearing, like, a shirt and some underwear, but because of the shitty camera, it just makes her look nasty, and you're just like, ooh, alright, okay, so, she I don't know what she's doing. She's putting up a light or something. You know, she's screwing the light in. You can see all their armpit hair and shit. And you're like, all right. So then the bell goes off. So she climbs down the ladder, right? And then she answers the door. But just before she answers the door, she like flicks her hair around, like, because I'm worth it. And then she answers the door, and there's this really like buff man. He's wearing only a pair of pants, no shirt, right? But he's got a little box, a little toolbox slung over his shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, ma'am, I'm here to fix the pool." And she's like, "Oh my, I didn't think you'd come so fast." And then he'll go, "Oh well, I'm always on time." The acting's really off, and it just makes you want to go, ugh! Right, but you know, you're still jerking off because this is all you can get, right? That's important. All right, so he walks in, she shows him in, she's shaking her ass, and her hands they're like flailing spasmodically all over the place in what she probably thinks is sexy, and her "I'm not really an actress, I just pretend" sort of way. And he walks in after her, and then as he goes past the camera, you notice that even though he's wearing pants, the pants don't actually have a back half. they end like they end in the middle, right? So his back half is just missing. It's like he's just wearing an apron with legs, right? And so as he walks in, you can just see his white, skinny ass like flailing around behind him, right? So he walks in, he doesn't even go to fix the pool. She just walks into the kitchen and starts dicing carrots, right, in a sexy way. I don't know how you do that, right? But then he just walks in, throws down his toolbox. She looks up, she's like, "Oh my!" right? And then he just rips his pants off, his half pants, revealing his cock and everything. He he straightens out his legs, parts his legs slightly, throws his arms out to the side, and just says operatically, "Oh!" And then that charms her, and she's like, "Oh my lord!" And she falls to her knees because she just can't handle what he just did, right? So then before you know it, he's on her. He's doing it doggy style, and you're like, and he's like, "Oh baby, do you like that?" And like, he's talking way too much, and it's just throwing you off, and you're like, "I didn't come to watch this porn film to listen to your acting skills," right? And then, like, you know, and she's like, "Oh my, it is so big and amazing, and you're in my vagina," right, like that, yeah, but I think that's what it's called, vagina, it's something like that, rhymes with that thing, vagina, anyway, right, but, so he's doing it, and it's showing way too many shots of his cock. You're like, I don't want to see that. Why'd you keep showing me him? I don't want to see his biceps and his face going, yeah, right. But then you're getting there eventually. You know, you're building it up. You're like, oh my god, here it comes, you guys, here it comes, right? And then right when you're about to come, yeah, the camera suddenly pans in on him, right? It just suddenly zooms straight past her and pans right in onto his face until his face fills the entire screen, and he just turns at the moment of ejaculation to face the camera. His mouth forms a perfect O, and his eyes scrunch up, and he goes, "Ooh," and you go, "Ah!" right? But it's too late because you started coming now, and you've just shot your pants. You're that scared and confused and ashamed about what just happened, right? and you're like, "Ah!" and you throw your arms up, right? You throw your arms to put them over your face just to be like, "Oh my god, I don't want to see this anymore." And then you realise that you've made an awful mistake because now your eyes are covered in your own jism, and it burns, and you're not sure if it's meant to do that or if it's because of the shame and the disgust and the confusion and the horror over what just happened. So you jump up, frightened and afraid, What the fuck is that? Anyway, you jump up frightened and afraid, right? You get out of the chair, you make a mad dash for the outside of the room, but your pants around your knees, so you're tripping and you're falling all over the place and you're slamming into shit and you can't see, your eyes are all bleared and shit because they're covered in your own jizz and you can't touch anything with your hands because you're scared and afraid and messy. And just as you're about to the room to get to the bathroom, you take one last bleary, pained glance at the PC to find that he is still in that exact same pose, still scrunched up with his eyes, still with his mouth as a perfect zero, still making the noise. Ooh, and you go, ah! Right? So you're trying to... So you get out of the room, you leg it, you're all over the fucking place right now because your pants around your ankles, you can't see, your hands are covered in jizz, right? You smash into your father's golf clubs, they fall over, there's a huge clattering noise, you hear your father's voice going, what's going on in there? And then you go, don't come in here, father, don't come in here, right? So then you burst into the bathroom, right? You're trying to wash yourself down, but no matter what you do, you cannot feel clean. You just cover yourself in water. You pull your pants up. You're like, oh my god, let this be over. 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 And then you look up into the mirror. You look at your horrible, pained reflection. You look at that messy, disgusting thing that is you, and your reflection rolls its mouth into a perfect zero, its eyes scrunch up, and your reflection makes the noise ooh. And then you go into the kitchen. You go into the kitchen, you hang yourself on a noose, you get yourself a kitchen knife, and then you commit Sudoku. You commit Sudoku there and then. And that's what it feels like to play Ju-On The Grudge.